Rockstar Gang, what up? What up? Appreciate everyone. Join the live stream. Welcome to the Rockstar Report. As always, your host, ClayRopp. And if you're new here, the Carolina Panthers and NFL is your bugaboo, then you're in the right place. All right. All right. You're in the right place. We already got Antonio Zulu in the chat. Carolina Panthers part ways with Shaq Thompson. That's been the biggest news today. Can I say I'm surprised? No, we'll dive deep into that a little bit more. But there's also, I don't think this is the end of the releases that we're going to see. I think we're going to see more guys get moved on. Obviously, we got a lot of guys going into free agency, but I'm not sure who they're going to bring back or if anyone at all. They might be trying to do a whole clean slate here, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, which I wouldn't be opposed to, especially on the defensive side. Go fresh name, fresh faces. Why not? Right? Why not go with some fresh and clean faces? You know what I mean? They already parted ways with Dane Jackson. They cut ties with him last week, which, I mean, as they should. I mean, you saved a lot of money. You saved a good amount of money. I think that's what they're looking at here from a standpoint. Plus also with Shaq Thompson, man, it would have been a $13 million hit. We'll dive more into that. But before we get into that, as always, guys, make sure you do these three things as you come on in or on your way out. That's it. Simple, easy steps. 3 easy steps. That's it. All right. Let's get right into this whole ordeal. Anthony, what's good, man? Appreciate you joining, brother. All right. So the Shaq Thompson era comes to an end. We have officially closed that book on a decade-long chapter. I mean, we're not going to be re-signing veteran Shaq Thompson. Y'all know that's the big news today. And I felt that this move was inevitable, but it was as inevitable as it was like bittersweet. Because we opted to part ways with one of the most stalwart defenders, marking a seismic shift, I think, towards a new era under the cutthroat leadership of General Manager Dan Morgan. I don't know if Scott Fitter would have made this same move if he was still here, ladies and gentlemen. I think that Dan Morgan is taking a cutthroat approach to what we're seeing here, and as he should. I think it is time to clean house. I think it is time, if we're going to do this rebuild right, let's bring in some new names. Let's bring in some new faces. But Shaq Thompson, let's get back to that. Drafted him in the first round of that 2015 draft. The guy spent all 10 seasons, with us. And that's all 10 seasons with us. So over 123 games, he accumulated over 752 tackles, over 12 sacks, 4 forced fumbles, 3 interceptions. But more than just stat sheets from a Shaq Thompson standpoint, I felt like he was the emotional core of this team, a locker room leader, a respected voice in the community, and he was the last bridge between the Carolina Panthers' golden era, from that Super Bowl 50 run. But we're in that rebuild phase. And this is part of actually doing a true rebuild. If you want to do a true rebuild, this is kind of how you have to do things. The NFL is ruthless, ladies and gentlemen. And sentiment does not win championships. Loyalty might get you a standing ovation. But if you want to save your franchise, you gotta make some tough decisions. But it won't save you, even if your loyalty is there. It does not mean it won't save you from the chopping block either for Shaq Thompson. Just saying. And so for me, that's the brutal reality of this business, ladies and gentlemen, right? You talk about Thompson's, we have to be fair here because, like, again, I thank Shaq Thompson for his 10 years being here. I do appreciate everything he's done. But Thompson's decline wasn't a matter of heart or effort. It was human nature, biology, whatever you want to call it. Because in the past 2 seasons, his body betrayed him. Broken fibula in 2023, then was followed with a torn Achilles in 2024, limiting him to just 6 games over 2 years. And these aren't just minor bumps in the road, ladies and gentlemen. These were catastrophic injuries. So for a player whose game, you look at his game, and he thrived on speed, agility, explosiveness. And at the age of 30, and an injury history that reads like a medical textbook, I hate to say this, but I felt like the writing was on the wall for Shaq Thompson, ladies and gentlemen. I felt like it was the writing was all over it. The writing was all on the wall. And Dan Morgan made it crystal clear that the Panthers are moving forward with no emotional strings attached, despite Thompson's desire to finish his career in Charlotte. The front office chose pragmatism over loyalty. And in his official statement, Morgan praised Thompson's leadership and dedication, but stopped short of offering a lifeline. The translation here is, like I said, thanks for everything, but we're done. Like, if you go read Dan Morgan's praise, like you see right there, you read that we appreciate Shaq's leadership, dedication over the past 10 seasons, always a source of passion and enthusiasm. He was committed to this organization on and off the field, poured into his teammates, strived to bring the best in them. We wish Shaq the best as he moves forward with his career. That translates to me, everyone. Thanks for everything, but we're done here. That's what that translates to me. Broski Bear coming in out a hot. Carrito MVP coming in hot. Haven't seen you guys in a while. Hope all is well. Thompson, though, I mean, here's the thing. Thompson, ever the professional, took the news on the chin. He expressed his love for the city, the team, but even he understood the nature of the business. You know, he even said it himself. He said, these 2 injuries, there's nothing I can do. He admitted it in a postseason interview. It was a sobering moment of vulnerability from a player who spent a decade giving his all to this franchise. So this is a new direction. This is a new sentiment allowed. I'm taking this move right here to not re-sign Shaq Thompson tells me all I need to know how we're moving forward, how this direction looks. There is no sentiment allowed. Dan Morgan is going to be a ruthless GM. That's the approach he's taking in this departure from the Panthers past, where emotional ties, sometimes clouded roster decisions, right? Under this reign that he's in, this team is focused on the future. And Carolina's historically porous defense needs consistency, not nonchalant. Or not nonchalant, but what's the word I'm looking for? Nostalgia. Thank you. Sorry. Needs consistency, not nostalgia. Sorry. I don't know why I said nonchalant. That's the word I was looking for. Not nostalgia. We need younger, we need faster, we need healthier players. That is the priority, right? And you got to think about it this way: from Shaq Thompson's $13 million cap hit, dwindling availability made the decision that's a no-brainer to me. Now, here's the thing. You let Thompson go now, that clears the path for Trevin Wallace, who's a rising talent, who had a decent rookie season, right? You could also say it gives an opportunity to Claude Churlis, but I doubt he's not gonna be a predecessor of Shaq Thompson. I think Trevor Wallace could be that predecessor, right? Also, depending on who we go in the draft, there's definitely going to be guys that there's definitely potential guys, which we'll dive into. But there are potential guys that we could get in to take Shaq Thompson's place. And we'll dive into those here shortly. What's up, Eric Blair? Appreciate you joining, man. Broski, how's the Myrtle Life? Not too bad. We've gotten some snow. The first time I've had snow in Myrtle Beach that I can remember in quite some time. But this was true and legit snow, broski. True, legit snow. This happened a month ago. So it's been a while. Greetings, salutations. Cap salary is going up right now. Yes, it is, Jay. I don't like it personally. He was a good vet to have in the locker room. I get it. But these are the tough decisions we got to make. Kyrito, Clay, how you been? I've been good. Appreciate you, man. Oh, shit. Myrtle Beach boys. I'm just kidding. But yeah, I mean, here's the thing. If Wallace, we'll talk more about some more of these guys that we could get into that could replace him. But there are guys that come off the top of my head. Like, let's say Claude Churlis and Trevin Wallace don't work out. There's definitely some free agents out there. All right. Nick Bolton, Zach Bond, Ernest Jones, players in their prime. But this is the Panthers' new philosophy. And I like it. Cutthroat, data-driven, and future focus. Again, there is no room for nostalgia here. The aim, here's the thing, and I understand where I would say I task or it task? I did go to Myrtle Beach High School, Rock Jones. So I am a Seahawk. So I am a Seahawk. Went to Myrtle Beach High. Exactly, Eric. Exactly. Yeah, I don't know if we're gonna cut. I don't know why we would cut Icky. That makes no sense. He obviously progressed forward. I mean, we had a top 10 offensive line almost every week, besides maybe and I'm talking about a top 10. We had a top 10 offensive line for many weeks with one of the lowest pressure rates. That's very true, Rock. There's not a lot of locals left. My mom's side of the family was all born here. My dad's side was from PA. So, but yeah, I mean that's how you build and sustain a contender. All right. You don't want to cling to anybody. All right. And again, this is no hard feelings thrown at Shaq Thompson. Okay. All right. This is it's just business. So for Thompson, this is both an end and a new beginning. So you're talking about a guy who's 31, who still believes he's got good football left in him, though medical assessments will dictate that. How many doors are going to open for him is a good question. Now, if he's healthy, I think Thompson could be a valuable vet presence somewhere on a contending team, right? Needing leadership and experience. Maybe he chases that Super Bowl ring, right? Meanwhile, for us, like I said, this move is less about Shaq Thompson, in my opinion, and it's more about our franchise identity moving forward, right? I think this is also Morgan's Panthers. This is Morgan's Panthers. Like he's not playing favorites here. They're here to build a contender. They're going to build it brick by cold, hard brick. That's how they got to do this. And you're in a league where windows for success slam shut without warning. And the Panthers are trying to pry their opens again. They're trying to open that door again. So, Broski Bear with some bars there. Well, it's gonna. Here's the thing. It's gonna say the thing is you don't realize is if we would have re-signed him, it would have cost us a $13 million to re-sign him. You only have a limited amount of cap space, so that's another reason. It made it easy for them. With the injuries plus the $13 million cap hit, that if they would have re-signed him, it made it easy for them to make this choice. And it makes it easier for my choice. That's why I said earlier, okay? That's why I said earlier about this whole thing is that, again, loyalty, ladies and gentlemen, will get you a standing ovation, but it won't save you from the chopping block. And that's what we're seeing right here. I have to commend what I'm seeing because, again, Scott Fitterer would have, in my opinion, would have re-signed Shaq, and we would have been $13 million in the hole on a guy that's had two major injuries, that only has played 6 games in the past 2 years. Again, this move is less about Shaq Thompson. It's more about our franchise's identity moving forward. We're not here to play favorites. We can't play favorites anymore. We're here to build a contender. Brick by brick, you have to make some tough decisions. Again, Shaq Thompson will undoubtedly receive his flowers, perhaps a tribute video when he returns to the Bank of America Stadium in an opposing jersey, probably. And he's earned that. He was a warrior. He was here through the highs, the lows, and even everything in between. But this is why I'm saying I won't be surprised if this won't be the last one we see. I promise you. They are trying to open up cap space so they can bring in probably some veterans and some guys that can go ahead and make some impact on the field. But again, this is where we have to turn the page as Carolina Panther fans, and we got to get our eyes locked in on the future. You know, leaving behind a decade of memories and a linebacker who gave everything to us until his body wouldn't let him play anymore. Again, in the end, this was the right call for both sides. Brutal, absolutely. Necessary, without a doubt. That is the unforgiving world of the NFL. That's how often best decisions are made. Kevin Thompson, you're not wrong, man. You're not wrong. You are not wrong. Now, here's the thing. I don't think that I don't think Shaq's the only one that's going to be gone, though, ladies and gentlemen. I think that there's other guys that I can mention off right. There's other guys I can mention off right now who I don't think needs to be on this roster anymore. I could go through the roster right now and name 5 guys right now. We'll go on that roster right now. I'm going to name you 5 guys that should not be on Carolina Panthers roster. I'll give you at least 5. All right, let's go by position. First one that comes to mind. I'm just going off the top of the dome here. Where's he at? There he is. First one up, DJ Johnson. This guy should not be on this roster next year. This experiment with DJ Johnson was doomed from the jump. Again, the Scott Fitter a dumbass move. Let's be honest and be clear on that. It's a dumbass move. Hold on, let me move it up. Getting this guy was a dumbass move. You traded up to snag him at the 80th overall in 2023 NFL draft. Was one of the biggest head scratchers for me because he was old, number one, for a rookie, and was raw as about as sushi as an edge rusher. And 2 seasons in, the gamble hasn't even paid off. He's had his moments against the run, but when it comes to pass rush, man, he's practically invisible. I mean, you can look at his PFF grading, man. I mean, that says it all. In a league where getting after the quarterback is key, having an edge rusher who can rush the passer is football. Having an edge rusher who can't rush the passer is football malpractice. And Dan Morgan knows he needs better depth at the edge. DJ Wanu and Clowney are sticking around, but beyond that, it's a wasteland. We already know that out of the draft that's got to be one of the key pieces, right? You know, you got to get some fresh legs here. I mean, this guy was I never hyped this. You know what's funny, broski? I never hyped this guy up once. I knew he was a bust when we went to go out and get him because I knew he was a bust coming out of Oregon when they said that he went from tight end to edge rusher, and it was only an edge rusher, I think, at Oregon for 1 season. And they probably went off intangibles on this guy. Talk about his metrics. Him being 6'4", 260, and runs a 4.49. I mean, this guy is a waste of athleticism. Let's be honest. That's what it is. That's what this guy was. And we traded up to get DJ. To get this guy. So stupid. And here's another thing is this guy turns 26 next season. 27 next season. And that's crazy because he's a guy who's trying to figure out how to get pressure on a quarterback still. At 27 years old. The development window doesn't last forever, my friend. And this door should have been shut a long time ago. Never should have been open. Time to move on from DJ Johnson. Now, another one. This one's easy for me. This one's real easy for me. Super easy. Ian Thomas. This guy, here's the thing. The way I look at Ian Thomas, if there's a Hall of Fame for wasted potential, Ian Thomas has first ballot case. You bet big on him in 2020 when they let Greg Olsen walk, hoping Thomas would be the next big thing. Spoiler alert, he wasn't. Never became the pass catcher that we sure hoped for him. 28, going to be 29 years old here in the next 5 months. Yes, he can block, but you don't pay tight ends decent money to just be an extra lineman. I'd rather pay an extra lineman. And why we doubled down and extended him only to watch him become even more of a non-factor is beyond me. Now, injuries haven't helped his case either, but last season, just when he seemed poised to make some noise under Dave Canales, he got sidelined again. Consistency, this guy's never even heard of it. What's up, Zach? Appreciate you joining. Like, the problem isn't just lack of stats, man. It's just the missed opportunities by him. Like, time and time again, this guy has failed to capitalize on moments when he could have been a key contributor. Tight ends today in the NFL, correct me if I'm wrong, are hybrid weapons. And Thomas has been stuck in the nature, or he's been stuck in neutral for a long time. He can't shift the fucking gears. He can't find the forward, or he can't find the drive, or he can't find the reverse. I mean, the guy has just been an absolute. I mean, look at his PFF grades. I just don't understand how he's been in the season, even after the 2020 season. Like, after 3 years, you think this guy, somehow he has remained on this team, and I don't know how. Thomas hits the free agency this spring, and honestly, it would be an act of sheer lunacy if Panthers brought him back. And if Tommy Tremble gets another deal, that door slams shut. Again, we need to get another dynamic dual threat tight end, not glorified blockers. That's what we need. That's what we need. Now, I got another one. The list goes on. Got another one for you here. This one's easy for me. How the hell this guy has a 97.6 coverage grade is beyond me, but okay. Shy total. This one's easy. Another easy one. Another guy who was just nothing but a dumpster fire. Again, I know that our run defense was a dumpster fire too, but we're giving up 179 8-point rushing yards per game is just straight up embarrassing. Watching opponents slice through this line like it was made of wet tissue paper is even worse. So, but Shy told him, man, that this was the guy that was supposed to anchor our middle. And instead, he got manhandled more often than not. Nose tackles and a 3-4 defense need to clog lanes and force double teams. And this guy got pushed around like a shopping cart with busted wheels. Like, just absolutely ridiculous. Like, just absolutely ridiculous. Like, another thing is too, is like, I understand that Derek Brown was injured, right? You got Derek Brown to returning from injury. You got A'Shawn Robinson sticking around, but the Panthers need a real nose tackle. Someone who can actually stop the run. Now, this draft class, in my opinion, is stacked with defensive linemen. So I think Morgan should take full advantage and show Tuttle the exit. And I think another thing is that Shuttle is not just about how Shuttle's individual struggles, but it was more about his inability to anchor the line, right? Had a ripple effect. Linebackers got swallowed up. Like, safeties had to step up more often. The entire defensive unit paid the price because nobody was anchoring the middle of the field, right? So in the NFL, if you can't stop the run, you're already beaten before the kickoff. So you got to cut ties with Shy Tuttle. Cut ties. That's a necessity. All right, another one for me. This is easy as well. See ya, Eddie. See ya, Eddie. Sayonara, you big nose bitch. It's funny. I got off. I'm not gonna lie to you. I had Eddie's agent. No joke. I had the email to prove it. I had Eddie's agent reach out to me saying if I wanted to bring him on my show. I emailed him back and said, "No thanks. Have a good one." I don't want to interview him. What do I want to interview him for? I have the email to prove it. So here's the thing. It's no offense, I just don't like the guy. I think here's the thing. Another thing is his kickers are like Wi-Fi. Nobody notices when they're working and when they don't. It's chaos. And like Eddie Pinheiro has been spotty at best. Last off season, he held out for a new contract, thinking he's the next coming of Justin Tucker, right? Ticking off both fans. Head coach Dave Canales as well. And then the season kicked off. His accuracy went south. Pinheiro just doesn't have a big leg. Making kicks beyond 40 yards feels probably like a 50-50 bet for him. And so, like, while his overall accuracy looks decent on paper, it's deceptive. Let's be honest. When the pressure on, this guy folds like a cheap lawn chair. And in today's NFL, clutch kickers are gold, and Pinheiro is more like fool's gold. And Joe Person's already came out and said that reports that have already came out that they're going to let Pinheiro test free agency. Good. I hope so. Because there's no need to get sentimental about a kicker who can't deliver in clutch moments. It's time to find someone reliable. Kickers can't be the difference between winning and losing tight games. You can't afford to gamble another season on the leg they can't trust. If you're on Tinder and you saw Eddie Pinheiro, ladies, swipe left. He doesn't come in the clutch. He falls short every time. That's probably more ways than one. Oh, God. By the way, dating apps, just saying, because I don't have to worry about that anymore. Thank Christ. They should just call it like what's left instead of like Tinder and Bumble and like Hinge. Just should be what's called what's left. All right. One more. I got another one. This one's also easy for me. But we might end up keeping him because of Jonathan Brooks, Miles Sanders. Listen, here's the thing. I'll say this. I thought I saw an improvement in Miles Sanders, but his contract's the biggest issue for me. But also, you got to think about the whole Jonathan Brooks situation. Because Jonathan Brooks isn't coming back next season, ladies and gentlemen. So go ahead and get that out of your head. Jonathan Brooks will not be back next season. Ready to go. So, I mean, this one's easy for me. I mean, I gave you my 5 guys. Those are the 5 off the top of my head. But Miles Sanders, let's dive in him a little bit. You signed him back in 2023, and you thought you were getting that dynamic playmaking running back that you saw in Philly behind a top 10 offensive line. Now, again, instead, we got whatever this was that you want to call him. Now, injuries did not do this guy any justice at all early. And when he did play, he looked sluggish, uninspired. Meanwhile, you got Hubbard, who took over, ran like his career depended on it, which it kind of did. But Hubbard's breakout was so strong that the Panthers locked him up with a new 4-year deal. And then you got Sanders, on the other hand, became this expensive bench warmer with an $8.1 million cap hit looming in 2025 this year. You cut him now, you'd save over $5 million. That's money better spent somewhere else. Like drafting a younger, cheaper back from this year's deep class. That's, what makes Sanders' situation worse is the contrast between really what he was supposed to be and then what he became. Like, you brought into being a bell cow back and turned into really just an afterthought. That kind of regression isn't just disappointing. It's like, damn, dude. And then the writing's all over the wall. Like, Sanders' time in Carolina is done. Sanders is done. But, again, it'll be interesting who they end up bringing here, right? It'll be interesting. Now, let's get into some guys that I think could take over Shaq Thompson's role. Let's get into that. Dadgum. Dadgum, y'all are going off. Panthers Tube coming in with a membership. Appreciate you, my guy. Appreciate you, my guy. Appreciate you. Shout out to Panthers Tube with that membership. Thank you. Greatly appreciate that. Starting off hot tonight. We got over 72 people watching total. That's over on, we got 56 people on YouTube. Give me up to 56 likes, ladies and gentlemen. This should be easy. Lemon squeezy. We should be already at 56 likes. We're at 33. There's no reason why we shouldn't be at 56. Also, guys, do become a member today, just like Panthers too. It's less than a cup of coffee per month. And also feel free to help out with the live goal. Live goal. We got a live goal right now going on. I greatly appreciate that. Just help support the channel. All right. Let's continue. Let's continue. My bad. I'm blabbing off here. Appreciate Panthers too for that. All right, so let's talk about some guys that maybe we can that Shaq Thompson, so we can have Shaq Thompson replace him with. All right, so obviously Josie Jewell is. I'm talking about some in-house guys, so I'm going to talk about some in-house guys. Josie Jewell is a safe bet. Like this guy's entering his 8th season now. Jewell still has 2 years left on that contract with us, an $18.7 million deal. He was basically Thompson's sidekick before the injury bug bit. He's the experience, and he knows the system. That's why I would say in-house guy. We're talking about Josie Jewell. Like, I mean, I don't expect fireworks from him. I think of him as more as a dependable sedan in a world obsessed with sports cars. That's what Josie Jewell is. He's that nice sedan that's going to get you from A to B, man. All you have to do is make sure you put fix your brakes, do your oil changes, put some new tires on it here and there. And then, you're in a world, though, with obsessed sports cars. All right. That's what you're getting out of Josie Jewell. All right, then with Trevin Wallace, of course, the rookie. Again, I don't think he had that bad of a season from a stat standpoint. If we go look up his stats for a rookie, I didn't think he had a bad season for a rookie, especially a third down rookie, right? Obviously, he was pegged to be the heir of Thompson, but he got baptized quick after Thompson's Achilles tear. So, guy had 8 starts. Lots of potential was shown. Also, rookie level inconsistency before the shoulder injury ended his season. I get it. Only 22 years old. Raw. Very raw. But happy belated birthday, by the way, to Trevin Wallace, if you're watching somehow, some way. But got a lot of upside. Is he ready to take the reins? Maybe, but then you're rolling the dice. So those are some in-house guys. Chandler Wooten, I mean, maybe, but that's a long shot, right? Claude and Churlis, long shot. I'd love to see what this guy has. I mean, I'd love to see some more of him. I'm surprised he hasn't gotten any more. I wonder if this guy's a sleeper. But I don't know. Maybe he's a practice squad at best. All right. So some other guys I would look into. I mean, you've got top shelf guys like Nick Bolton. I mean, this is top shelf right here. Right? You could go into this is from a free agent standpoint, right? Or you could go and get like a Ernest Jones. That's another guy that comes to mind, which I wouldn't be opposed to either. 25 years old, right? But those both are top shelf guys, right? But they're probably out of our price range. Both of them are Nick Bolton and Ernest Jones, but there are some intriguing mid-tier options. Now, I think Dre Greenlaw is a great one. I like Dre Greenlaw a lot. I think he's got a comeback story in the making after an Achilles tear. Now he's 27 years old, made a late season run, returned, and could be hunting for a 1-year prove-it deal. I mean, he came back in one game and had 7 tackles or whatever it was. Again, he's a high risk, high reward, but it could pay off if it pays big, right? Now you got some younger options out there like a Jamie Sherwood. Just throwing some names out here. Jamie Sherwood, or Tyrell Dotson. or a Devin Bush, those guys like that, and same thing for Jamie Sherwood. Guys have shown flashes of brilliance, but they need the right system to truly pop. I think Sherwood's coverage skills could pair well with Jules' run stopping tendencies, while Dotson offers versatility. Now, you want any vets on the block? You definitely got some, like a what's his name? Robert Spillane. So you could get a guy like Robert Spillane. If you want to get bring in somebody like a Robert Spillane who, or Anthony Walker Jr. or Cody Barton, those type of guys, you're going to get like who could bring some leadership, consistency without that hefty price tag, right? Spillane in particular, to me, has that kind of old school grit that could resonate in Carolina. Now, another one for me is a dark horse type of candidate in free agency is Azeez Al-Shaair. Fresh off a quietly productive season, might be flying under the radar. And his sideline to sideline speed could inject some new energy into this linebacker room. So those are some free agents and some names I'm going to throw out at you that I think we could go get. Okay. All right. Now, if we're talking about trade potentials, then you've got to, if this front office really wants to shake some things up, the trade market offers a couple of tempting targets. Like, I would say, Quay Walker. I think Quay Walker from Green Bay is an intriguing one from a trade standpoint. Hasn't exactly lived up to his 2022 first-round billing, but has 341 combined tackles in 3 seasons, which means that tells me that the talent is there. But Green Bay may listen in, and if the right offer comes along, especially if their rosters in a retooling. Another trade option for me would be Jermaine Pratt, which we've talked about on the show a couple times. I'm trying to pull him up. He could end up being a smoother transaction because he's a publicly requested a trade. And his 6 years of solid production makes him a plug and play type of option. And no guesswork here, just results. Another one, now this one would be pretty freaking huge. Patrick Queen. Patrick Queen is an intriguing trade prospect. Okay, he might also be I'm just saying, Baltimore, they've got a stacked defense. I don't know if that the Steelers would trade him, but could make him. I don't know what they're going to do, but Queen's aggressive play style definitely would fit our defense well, right? But you're going to give up a lot of. You're going to have to give up some draft capital to get it, right? Now, if we want to talk about draft picks, so let's get into so let's say if we go in the draft and want to find that replacement for Shaq Thompson, since we're continuing on the subject, let's go to the draft board. All right. It looks like they just updated the rankings on here too. Yeah, they just updated the rankings today. PFF just updated their rankings today. Interesting. All right. So let's go look at linebackers. All right. First one that comes up is obviously contested number 1, Jahad Campbell. Again, a guy who's a sideline guy. Speed, versatility, brings it all. Raw, explosive. With that kind of athleticism, man, Ejiro Evero is probably drooling over looking at a guy like this. Another one for me, Again, I like Jalen Walker too. I think Jalen Walker could end up being like one of those guys that secretly come out like 2022, or was it 2022, 2023 when Trevor Walker came out? I think it was 2023. I could see him going to the combine and just end up blowing up, right? And end up going from a mid-tier first round pick to, probably a first round pick. So Jalen Walker's a guy. He's been tied to Carolina in multiple mock drafts I've seen. Salisbury, North Carolina native, first team All-American, a Swiss Army knife, capable of dropping back or blitzing off the edge. The local kid angle could be the thing, could be the icing on the cake. Plus his leadership qualities mirror those Thompson that brought to the locker room. Demetrius Knight. Y'all know how I feel about my Gamecocks, but this is not, I'm not being biased. Like Demetrius Knight's getting a lot of praise right now. I mean, when you see this stuff like this and this stuff being in the blue like that, that's pretty damn good. All right. So he brings that SEC toughness, great tackling, instincts make him a natural fit for a run heavy NFC South. All right. And then, of course, another one, Carson Schwarzenegger, I think is a guy that's very underrated. He's a technician. He's definitely the technician of this linebacker group. I mean, he's not the most athletic in this group, but his football IQ is through the roof. I think that makes him an immediate asset if you're talking about drafting someone, especially for a complex defensive scheme that everyone runs. I think Carson would be a good fit. You got some other guys out there, like I would also say like Barrett Carter, rounds out early round possibilities. I mean, he's more his coverage skills, I think, is better than what PFF graded him. I do. He's got great lateral quickness, could shine in nickel packages, third down situations. I like him too. Some mid-round sleepers, though, for linebackers, I would also say are, let me see if I can find him. I don't think they're this far down unless they've got him this far down. Damn. I'm surprised they don't have him in there. I didn't see him. I would say some mid-round sleepers, though, for sure. Cody Simon. You can probably get maybe the fifth round, sixth round pick. I think he's a sleeper. Lots of upside. Cody Lindenberg had a great senior bowl. Danny Stutzman. I think Jay Higgins is very underrated. Very underrated. But Cody Simon is also very underrated as well. I mean, look at that run defense. And that's what we need to be looking at. We need to be looking at guys anyways with these types of grades as run defenders, especially. So I definitely think that there's definitely some guys out there that Carolina can go out and get, whether it's through free agency, whether they decide to make a trade, or whether they go out and get, or they go into the draft and they go and get some guys. They go get a guy to replace Shaq Thompson with. Yeah, so there's definitely a lot of talent out there to be had, especially in this draft class. There's definitely a lot of players that we could target to replace Shaq Thompson. That's not going to be an issue, right? But man. But yeah, I mean, it's the end of it there. We part ways with Shaq. We'll see what else becomes. I won't be surprised if we move on from some other players. Austin Corbett's got an interesting situation coming up as well. I'm going to talk about that here shortly. I got a short clip coming out for you guys. Got a couple shorts coming out. Going to do some free agent shorts as well here shortly. That'll be coming out tonight. So make sure you tune into those. Shout out to everyone in the chat. Appreciate everyone joining the live stream. Appreciate everyone that's became a member. Continue to show your support just by liking and subscribing. That's all I can ask. If you're following me on Twitter or TikTok or Instagram, make sure you come on over to the YouTube channel and do the same thing. If you're not following me on Twitter, Twitch, TikTok, Facebook, make sure you go do so. That helps out the channel a lot. If you're already subscribed here to the Ropp Star Report, I greatly appreciate that. So make sure you guys continue to tune in, continue to show your support. As always, guys, shout out to BetUS, sponsorship of our live stream. As always, sign up for free today. Get 125% bonus up on your first bet, up to $2,000, but bet responsibly. Okay. Appreciate everyone. I'm going to log off here. Going to get some more content out to you guys. And as always, guys, have fun, be safe, keep pounding. I'm out. Peace.